Alright, y'all, it's the rundown. See if we can get it done in under 30 minutes. Ready? Let's go. Alright, first up is the S&P 500. And as you can see, still bullish. Next up, Bitcoin. Bitcoin's running into some resistance at about 65,000. Nice bar today, green bar, still within the moving averages. Found some support at around it's a low there, 59,9999, 60,000. Looking bullish at the moment, so keep an eye on Bitcoin for the weekend. Over the weekend. Next up, crude oil. Crude oil was running into some resistance at the moving averages overhead at about $80, and it pushed down to about 71. So look for some consolidation in between 71 and 80, and be careful with crude oil because it looks like it's right now in a bear market. Next up is ES, which is the E-mini S&P 500, and of course still bullish. Next up is Ethereum. Ethereum ran into some resistance at 2,479, but basically 2,500. Pulled back, opened up a window up in here. I know you can't see all that because I got quite a bit of mess going on in this area, but it is right now in the bearish camp for Ethereum. Next up is Ethereum USD, and same thing, bear camp and falling. What's that right there? Move yourself to where we can see you. Bam. Alright, and you're the wrong color. Fix that. Bam. Alright, next up is gold, and gold is still bullish, still pushing higher, still have a nice gap between the 50, the 20, and the 5 SMA are staying close together. Gold is still bullish, ran into some resistance at about 2,708, but I feel it's going to retest that and continue higher. As long as the moving averages are staying at a nice, decent width apart, we should continue higher and bullish on gold. Next up, natural gas. Natural gas got a, it's in a nice uptrend. It's bullish. Got a nice little pullback here. That looks nice right there. Like, boom, boom, boom. Next stop should be about $3.15, $3.16 or so to retest this high. Natural gas futures, that's the futures there. That's ticker / November Golf NG. Alright, next up is / NQ E-mini NASDAQ 100 Index Futures, also the futures, and it's bullish, pushing higher, going to retest this $20,000 area. Next up is silver, and it is bullish, also going up to retest the $33 area, and that's probably a futures also, looking at the price. Yep, silver futures, ticker / Sierra India, going up to retest the $33 area. Next up is / Yankee Mike, which is the mini Dow Jones Industrial Average Futures, and it too is bullish, retesting the previous high of 43,000, trying to get up above that. We can get a close above that, retest, and continue higher. We'll be looking for some more bullish market going on, and so far the markets are bullish. So if you're in a trade and you're worried about the direction your trade is heading, unless it's a weak stock, then you might get some sell-off because of the manipulation. But if you're not, you should continue higher. Next up is Apple. Apple is ran into some resistance here at about $230, but it's got the moving averages coming up to help out. We got a good amount of distance between the 200 moving exponential and the 20, but at the same time we're still bullish and moving higher. So look for, even though we had a little bit of a pullback today, maybe come Monday on the today is the 11th, so that would put Monday at about the 14th or so, 14th, 15th. Look for another push up to retest this high at $233. Once we get through that, you got another retest at 237. Once you get above that, it should be off to the races again in Apple. Next up is AE, Atoms RES in Energy. And I think that might be one of those ones that I had found in, yes, Houston, Texas. It's a Texas energy stock. And of course it's moving higher because, you know, Texas, hey, we can charge what we want here. So let's go, let's make some money in Texas. So we pushed up through, came back, retested this moving average here. It's the moving exponential, the 200. Found some support at the 200. You also got the 150 below, and you got the other 200 SMA below, and you got the 20 coming up there to help out. So I suspect come Monday we start pushing a little bit higher on that one, unless we get some type of bad news saying that they can't make any more energy or something stupid like that. But other than that, should continue higher. Next up is AMC, and of course we already know about AMC. If you've been doing this for a while now, you already know, highly manipulated, ain't gonna go nowhere. Next up, AMD. Oh, and I'm still holding on to my AMC shares, by the way. Next up, AMD, sitting at 164.05, finding some support there. Got the moving averages also here to help. Got the 20 here to help. Got the I got the 50 trying to help support, and you got the 200 coming up to support. So we got a lot of support here at around $164 on AMD. Look for Monday, maybe a nice push higher to get up above this 173. If we can get above that, we'll retest 184. If we get above 184, it's off to the races and we're heading to the 200s. Alright, next up is Amazon. Amazon, we got, oh yeah, it's running into some resistance again at 188, where you can see here, bounced off, bounced off, bounced off, got up above it, got to 200, and 200 and knocked it back down, and then it had to deal with that 188 again. So here we are back dealing with this 188 again. We need to get above that. We got our moving averages that are pointing higher, so Amazon should move higher next week and into the next week, and then into the end of that week, and maybe into, that'll put us at almost towards the end of the month, I think. Yeah, that'll put us close to the end of the month, and then we'll be around $200 or so, unless we get some nice volume coming in. We're gonna hit this 200 in the month, and then we'll be looking at the election days, and don't know how Amazon's going to feel about who becomes the president. But it's going to run into some resistance again here at 201. Hopefully we can get up above that before we get to the end of the month to retest, and then use that as some support to keep us going higher. But right now it's bullish, but just kind of watch out because it's bullish, but it's not putting in a lot of volume. Okay, so that's Amazon. Next up is AVGO, which is Broadcom, which is on a steady tear. After the split, it did a split down here. I said you should look into getting it, and here it goes again, taking off to reach those new highs. It's retesting this 186 area, which was the previous high before the split, and then here we are retesting the 185. If we get above that and come back and look for some support at 185, it's off to the races. Nothing over its head to keep it down. Okay, only thing to stop it is itself. Okay, so that's Broadcom, Alpha Victor Golf Oscar is the ticker. AVGO. Hope that was clear enough for you. If not, look it up. Next up, Cake, which is Cheesecake Factory. And I always like the stock, and I love cheesecake. You know, and they make the best blue cheese dressing. Oh, the best. Cheesecake. Okay, here we go. Cheesecake Factory is they paid a good dividend too. So here it is right now. It went up to make a new high. Got rejected at about $42. Maybe let's just say $43. Got rejected. Now it's back into this range that it was in for a few months. Okay, it's got support from the moving averages pointing up, so I suspect that it's gonna at some point in here around $38, 38, 37, 36, somewhere in that range in there. It's going to catch some support from these moving averages and start pushing higher. Okay, heading into, we got some months where, you know, November we got Thanksgiving and Christmas we got, so we're going to be some months in here where it's going to be less, you know, stopping and buying food out, where we're going to be eating more at home because there's going to be so much food left around the house and we got to figure out a way to get rid of it. So we're going to be, you know, eating all those little snack foods and making little biscuits and turkey and whatever, you know, those things that we eat during the holidays. So it's probably going to slack off a little bit. But getting back into the new year when all the leftovers are gone, boom, cheesecake is taking off again. So cheesecake right now is bullish, and keep an eye on it. Next up is CEG, Constellation Energy. Alright, gapped up, pushed up, hit 288.75, ran into some resistance, came back down, the 20 moving average caught it, and now it's trying to go back to retest that high. We got the other moving averages are kind of lagging behind, so watch out for that one. It may put in the green, nice green bar here. It might even go back up and retest, but trying to get much higher, it's going to probably need some more support from these moving averages. But look for 233 as the fallback to catch you. If it doesn't catch you, then they may want to go back and close this window that it opened up at 209. So you got another $33 drop to close that window. And that window is going to get reconciled at some point. So watch out here on CEG, Constellation Energy. Alright, people, be quiet. I'm doing something, okay? Alright, next up is CGC, Canopy Growth Corporation. And it's been selling off. I don't like it because I own it, but you know what? I'm waiting on December 5th. So December 5th is when the DOJ is supposed to decide on the scheduling of Schedule 1. So I'm in it. I might buy a little bit more if it goes back down here to the support area at 276. But it got me pretty good. I bought some up in here like a big dummy, and I stayed with it because I'm on this new thing where I'm not just letting stuff go, where I probably should have jumped out when it got down in here, but you know, I don't really have a whole lot. It's less than 100 shares, so I'm not really tripping about how much I got. So at any rate, I know it ain't gonna go to zero, so I'm not worried about that. So I figure whatever I got in here, I haven't bought any for a while now, and I'll probably, if it gets down here to this to my base at 276, I'll probably buy like, you know, 5 or 10 shares or whatever, but it's not going to be a lot, because I'm going to try to get to at least 100 shares of it, and I think right now I'm probably at like maybe 30. I can't remember. I haven't looked in a while. I don't even look at it, to be honest with you. Well, I have looked at it, but I didn't. Anyway, so you do you. I'm doing me. Anyway, next up is Chesapeake Energy, which has changed to EXP, Expand Energy. Okay, they just merged with what used to be Southern Energy or something like that, I think. Let's see if we can find it. Merged with what's the name of it? What's the name of it? Where is it? They were Chesapeake, and they merged with, or they bought out. Yeah, Southwestern Energy. Final merge. Yeah, it was on October 1st. So yeah, Southwestern Energy. At any rate, as you can see, they were at about $70. Now they've pushed up to about 82. Run into some resistance from the moving averages, but it's still kind of bullish. The moving averages here, the 20 and the, not 20, the 200s, the 200 SMA and the 200 exponential are acting as support right in here at around 82, 81, 80 dollars. So look for a green bar to push higher up and through here and get above that $84 area. If we get about $85, we're off to getting retesting this $90 area. Okay, so we need to get above 85 and go and get another 5 to get above this 90, and then it's off to the races. And this is another one that that should be a dividend stock. Yeah, it pays a dividend. 362 dividends per share. 362 is what it says here. So that's a nice little dividend on an energy stock that's really not that expensive right now. So next up is ChargePoint, and I just recently put ChargePoint back in my listing because of the lithium plays, and I think we're getting into next year be 2025, and I think they said by 2035 they want to have us fully electric. And also I've been hearing a lot of talk about lithium mines and blah blah blah, and so I've started paying attention, and I noticed that this ChargePoint has been bouncing in this $120 area. And so I'm going, okay, so it's looking for some support in this area here right now. ChargePoint is, and there's other lithium battery stocks, right? But ChargePoint was one of those ones back when we first started with the whole electric vehicle thing, and Tesla was taking off back during the pandemic and blah blah blah, and I think it was about 2018, 2019, 2020, blah blah. When we were starting to talk about the electric vehicle thing and where they expect to be with it. ChargePoint was one of those leaders around that time, and so it's on my chart, and it looks like it's finding some support at around $100 and $1.20 or so. So that's why we're talking about it today. Look for it to stay above this area. 121 is the low. If we can get above these moving averages, and it looks like they want to go flat also. So keep an eye on that one into the next year. We may start to want to take off in the electric vehicle again. And ChargePoint had a high back in the day of, we hit $49, almost $50. So it's not a bad investment if you can get above the moving averages, and if we can start getting some momentum back into the electric vehicle arena. ChargePoint would not be a bad buy at this price. So I'm not saying that you want to do something today or tomorrow, but it might be something you want to keep on your radar into the future, because we may go back and retest this $50 area, and at $1.20, what's $100, right? Drop $100 on it and let it sit and see what happens. You make some pretty good change. So, and most of us will spend that on the weekend at the bar, so, or at the club, or at the movie theater, or wherever you want to, you name it. You can spend $100 there. You know, if you got friends and family or just a girlfriend, it doesn't help out. All right, next up is the our boyfriend. It doesn't help out, for that matter. Sorry, ladies. So next up is CME, the CME group, Charlie Mike Echo, and it's bullish. Moving average is pointing up. Got a retest with green here at 219. We get back above this 221 and head back on a retest at 226. Get above that and it's off to the races. But right now, CME group is bullish. Next up is CMG Chipotle, which I thought for sure today it was getting ready to take off, but then they put in this doji right here, which is not a good sign, but then it's not a bad sign either. We got its earnings report coming up on the 29th, which is a good thing, which is going to be a nice catalyst for it, one way or the other. It's going to either, get a sell off or it's going to get a push up higher. Generally, into most of these earnings report, if you see it pushing higher at the beginning before it goes into its earnings report, it usually sells off a little bit. After the earnings report, if you see it going lower going into the earnings report, it usually pushes higher. So who knows what it's going to do, but it's definitely bullish at the moment, and I own it. And if it does sell off, I am going to buy some more. If it goes higher, I'll probably wait until it pushes as high as it's going to go, and then I start getting some red bars. I'll wait for that last red bar and buy some more at some support area somewhere. Hopefully it'll be up here above $65.30, and I can buy some in there at that support area. And because I think that support area, from what I can tell, looks like it might be, after that it's off to the races. Yeah, so if we can get above that $65.30 area, it's nothing but air and opportunity. Okay, next up is CNP, which is Center Point Energy, another Texas energy stock, and this one's been in a consolidation, as you can see, for a while now, between $25 and $31, and it looks like it's looking for some support around $28, $29 or so. We need to push up higher than this 31 and continue higher to show that it's, but it's definitely that it's wanting to go higher, and definitely in a bullish, definitely bullish at the moment with our moving averages acting as support, especially the 20-day, which is what we like to see. So we got a nice little pullback. That's beautiful right there. It pushed up. Right, little pullback, push higher, little pullback, push higher, little pullback, push higher, ran into, hey, we're here, we're retesting this over here, and then you get a nice big pullback, right, and then you get a green bar ready to go higher. So we should get our next move should be a lot like this one here. Okay, our next move should be a lot like this one here. That's not what I'm looking for there. Let's see. Trying to make it quick. Can't mess around with this stuff right here like this. Let's do it. Let's go. Alright. Okay, so about $35 towards the end of the year. Should be another $5 or more. Be nice. Alright. So that's Center Point Energy, ticker Charlie November. What's that? Oh, Papa. Charlie November Papa. Sorry. Almost forgot my phonetics. Alright, next up is Coinbase. Ticker symbol COIN. Charlie Oscar India November. Nice green bar right here, but it's below the moving averages, so watch out. It's got to fight through all this to get higher. I want to retest that high at about $212. I think when we were talking about Bitcoin earlier, when I was going through the futures or whatever, Bitcoin put in a nice green bar, ran into some overhead resistance, but it looks like it's fighting to get out of this moving average area to push higher to retest this 65,000 area. So far 65,000 has been a pretty good resistance. Even 64,000 has been pretty good resistance, so watch out with that one. But Coinbase is basically a smaller version of that now. It's starting to track just like it. So look out for that overhead resistance of right here. I think that's my 50. Yeah, the 50 moving average overhead resistance. So far it's been respecting it, so watch out for the next few days and see if this and it also has this right here, the 200 acting as resistance also. So if you see those starting to curl down, then you know we're getting ready to go even more bearish and head lower. Alright, so watch out for Coinbase in the future. If we can get another good green bar and push us up higher, then might have a chance. Next up, Costco, the behemoth. Costco is, man, I slept on Costco. Should have bought some back when it did a split way back. I think it did a split, or maybe it was just low and I was being a big dummy and didn't buy it. I think might have been messing around with something else on other stocks like AMC and whatnot. But at any rate, it's just done nothing but gone higher, respecting its moving averages and going higher, which I suspect is going to continue to do the same thing. They just opened up like 2 or 3 more stores in my area, so I can't find one that isn't just busy like crazy. So long as and I'm not sure if they're overseas or not, but as long as they stay domestic, they'll continue to do well. So Costco is just bullish, and jump in anywhere you like and you'll be fine, in my opinion. If I was to jump in, I'd jump in anywhere I like and I would be fine. So I'm waiting for the split, and I hope it happens soon so I can get in it and be in it until it splits again. So next up is CSWC, Capital Southwest, and it is bullish, but it is sitting on top of all of the moving averages. We need to get it above this $26 area and get some space away from these moving averages so we have some room to run. Right now they're acting as a magnet, keeping it close to it. They don't want it to leave home yet. You know how the parents are. They want to keep the baby close so it doesn't go out and get hurt out there. So here it is sitting around the house, and it's riding the mothership for a little while. But as it consolidates and it builds up this strength to break out away from the parents, we need to get above this $26 area, retest this $27 area, and get above that to keep running off into the keep exploring the outer space away from the mothership. So that's Capital Southwest Corporation, which is it's like a bank in Texas. It's another one of those Texas stocks that I was looking at and thinking about. All that is Texas and all of the growth that's happening in Texas currently as the exodus from California happens. Okay, so that's Capital Southwest, and that's Charlie Sierra Whiskey Charlie is the ticker. Next up is DJT. DJT, man. It came all the way down here, was selling off, hit 11.75, and look at it now. It just popped up another $10 to retest this moving average up here, which is the 200, and it's looking pretty strong. Had a nice little doji here today on the 11th, and it maybe going into next week we might get a pullback, or we might get a green bar saying, hey, we're going higher. So at any rate, be careful with DJT, which is Trump Media and Technology, of course. I hear they got a crypto coin out or some shit recently. Excuse my French. Crypto coin. But yeah, DJT is taking off, and I lost sight of it. I stopped paying attention to it. I was watching it, and I had bought some up here, and I sold off. I got out of it, and then I've been watching it, and then I stopped watching it because I was looking more at my Chipotle, and I was watching something else that I was interested in, the lithium trade and all that stuff, and so I stopped paying attention to it, and it just got away from me. And it's been getting away from me for a little bit now, but now I'm back looking at it again. I'm going, man, I missed out on that sucker. I should at least got that $10 move. But at any rate, you can't watch everything, right? You can't be in all of them. I need to start a trading thing where we all trade together, and I have a bunch of people watching that area, watching this, and you watch that, and I got this, and you got that. Anyway, let me stop. I digress. But yeah, DJT, Delta Juliet Tango is on the move. So be careful with it. It's got a lot of overhead resistance, but then it's got a lot of support underneath it as well. So, and we're heading into November, and next thing you know, November comes around, and depending on the outcome, or either one way or the other, it's right now trying to become bullish. But right now it's kind of in a neutral zone, so it can go either way. So pay attention to that, and act accordingly. Next up, DKL, which is Delete Logistic Partners, and man, look at that gap down. That is screwy. Let's do something about that. It gapped down after running into some of the resistance in this area here. It opened up a nice size window for anybody to crawl through. Alright, so be careful with this one. And right now it's put in a nice green bar today, but it got rejected when it went back to this area here at $39 or $40. It got rejected, but it's still green, so look out for Monday morning and see which way we're heading. If we're still going lower or if we're going higher. If we get another green bar going higher to retest this area, we may want to go back, close that window before going lower again. So pay attention to that one. Delete Logistics, and they're not losing a lot of money or whatnot. They actually make some pretty good money in the last 3 years or so. 3 to 5 years, they've been pretty positive. So what happened here, I don't know. We have to check the news and see what news affects it, and do what we can do from there. Well, let's see. We got time. Partners announced closing of public offering of common units and full exercise of underwriter's opinion purchase additional units. Why Delete Logistics Partners? Stock is down. Sector update: energy stocks decline pre-market Wednesday. Sector update: energy, exchange traded fund, equity futures, blah blah blah. So yep, there's a lot to sift through on that one. Next up is DKS. That's Dick's Sporting, and Dick's has always been a strong stock, although sometimes it can get a little goofy as it jumps around everywhere, but it's always on a steady upline. Right now it's running to some support at the 200s. Got the overhead resistance from all the other moving averages, the 5, the 50, the 20, and the 50, 20, 150, and the 5 are acting as overhead resistance. But you got the 200 SMA and the 200 moving exponential acting as support. Okay, so we got a nice green bar today. We can continue that pushing higher into Monday and into next week. Then we're still bullish. Maybe we might come up and close this window that opened up here. Got close here, but then no cigar. So we may want to go back and close that window. But I'm sure it has a couple of other windows open already here in the past. Because that one, like I said, likes to jump around. And I'll close that window there. And I don't see any other windows on Dix. So that looks pretty good. I think we're bullish on Dix. Look for some green going back up here, retesting this 239. If we can get above 239 and hit 240 to 250, off to the races again. Dix has been a pretty solid stock, as you can see, constantly going higher. Hit at a certain point, it started to sell off, but it was getting far from the moving averages too. So you know how it is. You can't get out there in the space and run out of supplies. You got to come back to the mothership, resupply, and head higher. All right. Next up is ERBB weight stock, which is 0.0004 at the moment, and it's looking still bearish. And maybe once December 5th comes around and the DOJ does its magic, hopefully they'll do the right thing, and marijuana stocks will be able to do what they should have been doing a long time ago, and it will no longer be a bad thing to enjoy the God's greens. Next up is ETN, Eaton Corp. All right, pays a nice dividend, 3.44, and it is bullish at the moment. All the moving averages are pointing towards the heavens, and we've gotten above this, which was a resistance area, now has turned into a support area. Going to retest is 345 up here. Once we get above that 345 and come back and retest for some support, then look out, it's off to the races. This stock wants to continue higher, and it is doing it. So ETN, Echo Tango November, Eaton, which is industrial. All right, next up is EXE, which is the Chesapeake one we looked at earlier, and which is combined with Southern, and we already know it's $3.62 dividend that it pays. EXE, and I think they're going to get rid of the Chesapeake. I think that's going to end up leaving the market, and they're just going to use the EXE. So I have them both on my chart until that happens. But so far, EXE, as you see, is looking pretty good and bullish. So next up, FBTC, Fidelity, Wise, Origin, Bitcoin, and we got that green bar that we were talking about in Bitcoin, and also in I can't think of which one it was, but anywho, we got a nice green bar today. We had a nice red bar that found some support at the 200 day before. So we're pushing up higher. If we can get above this $55 area and above this $58 area, find some support, and we may go back and retest the $64 area. All right, so that's Fidelity Wise, Origin, Bitcoin. Um, Foxtrot Bravo, Foxtrot Bravo Tango Charlie is the ticker. Oh, you got it right there. FBTC. All right, next up is GBTC, which is Grayscale Bitcoin, and it too has a nice little green bar today, and it wants to go out and retest this area. Got to get through these moving averages and then get through that support area, which is now resistance. We can get above $55 and retest for support. Maybe we'll go back and retest the $65 area. Alright, but right now it's in the bullish camp. You just got to get through these moving averages to be more confident. Alright, next up is GME, GameStop. And GameStop has been consolidating in this area here between $18 and $31. Another highly manipulated stock. Along with AMC, I was in GameStop back when it popped and hit up there around $100 something. And I didn't even know what was going on when it did it. I don't even know why I had bought a bunch of GameStop stock at that time, because it was really low in price. And I bought a bunch of it, and I was just sitting on it, and I woke up one morning rich, and I was like, what the heck is going on here? And then I come to find out about the Reddits and all the other stuff. But I had already had an inkling that GameStop was a stock that could be a better stock if the powers that be would get smart and do more like a lot of the online gaming platforms that are out, like Steam and all the others. But I still haven't heard anything like that about GameStop, so I'm still trying to figure out what the heck they got planned. But whatever. But right now it's consolidating in this area between $18 and $22. So maybe we can wait out the hedge funds, because the hedge funds are in it heavily. They're still in AMC heavily, and they're still in NWBO heavily, and and I really let me stop. Anyhow, that's GameStop, and hopefully the regulators will start doing their jobs and quit allowing the stock market to be manipulated and causing distrust, because that's all they're really doing at this point, is causing distrust, especially with people that are only trying to increase their living and ways of living and standard of living and whatnot. The way other people have done in the past. Now that the market has become so open for everyone to be a part of it, they shouldn't make it, like you're dealing with a bunch of gangsters. But anyway, next up is Google. And Google has finally some support in the 200 moving average. You see right here it broke through it, but found some support around the $150 area. And it has since popped back up, ran into this area again at $166, which seemed to be a nice resistance area. But that's where the gap down happened. Okay, and these gaps, they're just areas that just seem to be I don't know if it's for it to gap down, if it's just a lot of sellers, or if the gap up was because there's so many people trying to buy, and it just it pushed the stock so high that it couldn't come back down and allow other people to buy down in this area, and so it just ran up, and then it starts to sell off, and it comes back down to fill those old orders. I'm still trying to figure that part of it out, but the truth of it is that when these windows open, they have to be reconciled. And as you can see, they reconciled it here, and they're starting to push higher again. And so we got the moving averages coming to support. We got to get above $166. Once we get above that, then we should be open to run up and retest this area of 191. Right now we got a little bit of struggle going in here and not much volume coming in, so watch out with Google heading into the election and the end of the year. Next up is INSM, Insmed. As you can see, it gapped up here. Huge gap up. And of course, like I always say, has to be reconciled at some point. Now they could continue running higher and then do a split or do some type of execution, which would put it back down below this area and close that window, or it could just sell off and come down there and close that window. But right now it looks like it's just wanting to be bullish and wanting to keep going higher. So I don't think it's going to want to come back and sell off and close this window. I think it's going to want to continue going higher. Maybe someday do a split or something to put it back down in this area. Okay, so that's Insmed looking bullish. Put in a nice green bar today. Get above, if it can get above this $80.53, close and retest and continue higher, it's off to the races. All right. So right now it's bullish and it's a buy in my book. Next up is Intel, and Intel is acting a little bullish right now. It had a little bit of sell-off. Now it's going back to retest this $25 area. It's got 4 green bars in this last week. Not big bars, but I mean it's still moving higher. We got a nice little decent pullback, push up, pull back. Now we should push up to about the same. So we should push up to about this $28.89 area before the next pullback. So if we can get that same move, push up, pull back, push up, pull back, push up, should be about $37 before the end of the year. Alright, next up is IWM, iShares Russell 200, and it's bullish, moving higher, nice green bar. Look for the retest in this area at around 225, get above that, check for support, run off higher. Next up is Lululemon, and it found a bottom finally. This thing had been selling like crazy from $500 down to $226. So it looks like we found our bottom. Finally found our bottom on Lulu. Alright. Green means go. Lulu's ready to run again. Got some support here at 268. Got our moving averages coming down to slap it down, so let's wait and see what happens. Let's go and we can jump in here, ride it up to our moving averages, and if we get slapped down, back down in here, maybe retest this area, maybe buy a couple more shares and see what happens. Maybe we might have enough to get through the moving averages the next time and retest this 398. We're getting into Christmas, and guess what? All the ladies like Lulu, and they don't mind spending that $200, $300 on little tight pants that they walk around in like regular clothes now. All right, so sorry, ladies, I don't mean to be male chauvinist or whatever you might want to call it, but it's true. Y'all like shopping at Lulu. Get through these moving averages, retest this 398. We're heading higher for the 516 to retest that. We got a nice window open up here between 465 and 420. So look to go and retest that and close and shut that window. And if we can shut that window and continue higher, check out the 516 area. Maybe we can get above it. If so, then it's off to the races. But for now, we're down here at around 268, and let's get through these moving averages and then find the confidence to continue higher. But right now it's looking pretty bullish, but can't really say bullish because it's in a bearish market. Next up is Love, LUV, Southwest Airlines, my favorite airlines of all. And it's doing pretty well. And it is bullish. And it needs to retest 33.74 and continue higher. That's Southwest. Next up, Macy's. Bearish. It's in a bearish market, but it's got some green coming in. This is, what is that? Activate that and get it down where you can read it. Oh, okay, where the Fed cut 0.5% on the 18th. So that's all that is. And we're green. Going to retest the 1650 area. Right now we're at about 1578. Let's retest that 1650. If we can get above it, of course, retest for support. Got our moving averages that are going to be banging on it, trying to push it back down. So watch out for that. It's got a window open up here at $19. So we can get through these moving averages and get above the moving averages and retest that 19. If we get above that, $22 is our overhead resistance from there. If we get above 22, it's off to the races on Macy's. And Macy's are heading into the holidays, and the holidays are always good on Macy's because, you know, Macy Day Parade. Anyway, and they've been closing some stores, so they should have a little more strength also. Alright, so that's Macy's. Next up, Mara. How many minutes are we into this? You might have to do a part 2. Doing it. I don't want to do it too long. Oh, I didn't put the timer on. Sorry. Alright, we're going to make Macy's the last one. I mean Mara the last one. So Mara, green bar today, bearish market. Keep an eye on that. It's an information technology. Most information technologies are doing pretty good right now. Mara, on the other hand, not so much. Look for some support at around $13.33 because the moving averages knock it back down. Look for some support around $13. If we get that support, look for a retest to go higher. Right now you got, like I said, Bitcoin, Fidelity, Bitcoin. They're all trying to push higher. So I imagine tomorrow is going to try to do the same eventually, along with its counterpart Riot. And Grayscale Bitcoin, I think we already went over, and it put in a nice green bar today too. So they're trying to go higher. Watch Grayscale really. If Grayscale pushes higher, then Mara should continue to go higher also, along with the Riot. And if you see a sell off in Grayscale, then watch out for Mara and Riot also, because they're going to probably follow suit as Grayscale. From what I can tell, they tend to react on Grayscale's reaction. They're just a little bit slower, and so I think I did a video on that. So look for my video on Grayscale and Mara and the others, and I kind of explain what I see as far as the Bitcoins. All right, next up, McDonald's, which is continuing to run. Boy, McDonald's, I remember it was $100 a couple months ago, a couple years ago, whatever it was. Now it's up about $302. So that's a $200 move if you bought one share at $100. So anyhow, McDonald's is did a retest of this area at 300. It looks like it's bullish and wanting to go higher. So McDonald's is a buy in my book, and it pays a dividend of $6. So a $6 dividend on your one share, that ain't bad. Little expensive for me, but because I like to be able to accumulate a lot of it on the way up, and I missed that when it was around $100 because I was messing around with other stuff like those other stocks like Neo and all those other guys. So I was messing around with them and buying some other stuff that I liked, that like Chipotle and Walmart, stuff like that. I like buying companies that I know that are that profitable and that are growing and that I can see that are busy. So, and But of course you got to do what you can with what you got. So that's why I couldn't afford to buy all of them. I like to buy all these ones that are good, but you know, my Thinkorswim doesn't allow you, and even my E-Trade doesn't allow you to do what's it called, where you buy a little bit of shares of it. Not like Coinbase where you can buy Bitcoin, but you can buy like 0.000003 of Bitcoin or whatever. I forget what it's called at the moment, but I'm sure you all know what I'm talking about. Anyway, it'd be nice if we can do that in these other stocks, because I would definitely buy some McDonald's, buy some Costco, buy some of those other ones that are too expensive for me to buy at the moment. Next up is Meta. Another one that I like to own, but I can't afford it at the moment. It's bullish, continuing higher. Communication services. As long as it stays above these moving averages, it's a buy in my opinion. Next up is Altria, and it too is bullish, and I got an order to buy one at market if it ever should happen. I think I must put that in at some point. Let's say 10-11, so that was today. And so I'm waiting for my order to get filled on Altria. It was selling off, but it looks like it found some support in this area at about $49.54. So I got my little order to buy one share at, I don't know, it's not showing me the price, but I just want to get in the trade so I can keep an eye on it at this point. But we should find some support in here at around $50. I've got our moving averages moving up higher. Altria has a dividend of $3, and it is a consumer staple, and yeah, I have a feeling it's going to continue to go higher. It's a strong moving stock. The city manufacturer sells smokable oral tobacco. Oh, that's what it was. Now I remember why I was looking at putting a stake in it and keeping an eye on it. So I don't believe that Altria is going to just only deal with tobacco. Okay, and I really need to do some more research into them, but I have a feeling they're going to pivot into more of the marijuana and all those other things once the feds finally legalize it, and once the scheduling one changes. Then it would be worth it to them to move over and into those areas. And I don't think that it would be that hard of a move for these guys to do that. So that's just kind of my stake right now. I'm going to buy one share of it just to keep it on my radar, and I'm willing to risk $50 to see what's going to happen in the future. $50 risk to me come to December is worth it to keep it on my radar and to keep it, because as you can see, it's bullish and it's continuing higher. So I don't think that's going to change regardless of what happens with the feds. But I do see this as a nice potential growth stock. It's going to be much more than what we see with Scott's Miracle and all the other ones that are trying to get into the marijuana space. I think Altria has a lot more going for it because it's been doing it for the longest, and so they'll be able to pivot really easily into the marijuana space when they get ready, if they haven't already started doing that. Which I need to do more research into it, but I'm not really worried about it because they've been around for the longest. Alright, next up is Microsoft, and this is going to be the last one. Microsoft running into some trouble. A lot of stuff going on about Bill Gates in the news. I don't know if you heard, and I don't know if I'm going to mention it, but I'm not sure how much control he still has in the company anyway. But at any rate, Microsoft is in this kind of holding pattern right now. It's stuck between all the moving averages. Not really pushing higher, not really pushing lower. So keep an eye on that. It's got its earnings call coming up on the 30th. So watch out for that, because that's going to be a catalyst either higher or a catalyst lower. Okay. But right now it's on pause. They're just kind of consolidating right now between this area, and they've been in this area for some time now. All right, so right in here. Okay, so between 398 and 428, they've just been bouncing around for months. Can't seem to get out of this area. So that's Microsoft. Keep an eye on it. If we can get above this 450, we're ready to retest 468 and going higher. If we go lower than that, then if we get below 366, look out below. It'll continue to fall. But right now we got this range between here, 398 and 428. So keep an eye on that. But Microsoft is neither bullish nor is it bearish. It's just trading sideways. Alright, that's it on the rundown. I will finish the second half of my list. I will try to get I don't know if I'm going to get through the second half of my list either. But I'm going to try to get through the second half of the list. And if I don't, then we'll get through the second half and then try to get through the third portion of the list. But thanks for being a part of it. Please like and subscribe, and be careful out there. These markets are crazy.